Can you share that for me? Cool. So the domain I am going to look at is called asharpmusicco.com, and as the name suggests, it was a music company. So been around for quite some time. Been around since 2004, all the way through till kind of end of 2021. And by the looks of it, it'd been the same company, been the same owners, and it'd been the same kind of business. Gone through a couple of kind of redesigns over the years, as you would expect. So this is kind of what it looked like in 2006, and they were selling acoustics, electrics, all guitar stuff, by the way. So amplifiers, used gear, etc. And then 2008, nothing much had changed. 2010, 12, and 14. So nothing really changed too much of the first 10 years. Obviously, they had new products and updated what they were selling, but essentially the site stayed the same. And then we'll fast forward a little bit to 2018. Same company, I assume so anyway, same address, same telephone number, but obviously a new site design. And you can see here that they've got acoustic guitars and banjos and ukuleles and guitar pickups and electric guitars and amps. And they're basically an e-commerce store. It wasn't an affiliate site or anything. They sold the products online. They also had a kind of a brick and mortar shop, but they also sold online, and they did lessons, and they had like a repair aspect of the business, etc. And then basically stayed the same. You can see this is the same, but that kind of slider is not loading, but the rest is the same, and stayed the same then until 2021 when the went offline. I don't know if they used to get most of their sales from brick and mortar, and due to COVID, the business shut down. You never fully understand or know the reasons why these domains expire, but in this case, we could probably make a guess that it could have been due to COVID, struggling with a brick and mortar shop. So looking at it in Ahrefs, just as a brief overview, you can see here that it used to get some traffic, not a ton of traffic, organic traffic, which is the reason why I think they probably struggled if they had to close the shop or footfall fell to the shop. But it used to get some traffic. DR18, 86 referring domains, still indexed. We've still got a couple of pages and a couple of keywords indexed. So when we have a look at those, according to Ahrefs, there's 23 pages indexed. And it's some product pages, some like the page about used amps, individual specific products, etc. Obviously the homepage. So that's always a good sign that even though it expired kind of 2021, it's been around for so long, Google still has some of these pages in the index. And not always, but typically what you find is that a site that still has pages indexed will usually come back to life a little bit quicker than a site that doesn't have any. Not always, but sometimes. And if we have a look at the keywords that are still, according to Ahrefs ranking, or still indexed in Google, we've got obviously the branded stuff. And then we've got kind of some individual, like B-Sharp Music, like a review page, a couple of reviews, etc. So this just ties back with what pages are still currently indexed there. Anchor texts, all nice and clean, ordered highest to lowest with referring domains. It's branded, which is awesome towards the top. There's nothing else in there kind of untoward that you wouldn't expect to see in there, but it's always nice to see lots and lots of the primary anchor text branded like that. Referring domains, we've got a couple of high authority, but most of them are niche relevant. So we've got Huffington Post, but then we've got Reverb.com, which is a massive music site, Taylor Guitars, PSR Guitars, there's GHS Strings, what else is in here? Sputnik Music, Talk Bass, Jazz Books, another guitar website, Acoustic Guitar Forum, musicplayer.com. Like there's tons and tons of like niche relevant domains in here, and you've got one or two kind of high authority sites. So this is a good mix, a good spread, but it really is kind of like proper niche down into the guitar space, which is awesome, because if you're going to build a site about guitars and you want links from other sites to talk about guitars, obviously you talk about niche relevancy all the time. When we look at the best pages by incoming links, so these are the pages on the website that have most of the links pointing back to them. This is in great shape. Almost all of them point back, or the majority of them point back to the homepage. And then down here, the next one is basically 3 links, 2 links, and then 1 link. So there wouldn't be a ton of tidying up. Sometimes with an e-commerce store, what you can find is if one product was really popular, that one product page can get a ton of backlinks, and you have to do a lot of like tidy up work and recreating content and setting up redirects, etc. In this case, there wouldn't be hardly anything like that to do because most of the links go to the homepage and they're already preserved that way. So that's great. And then just a quick look back to 2018 when the site was getting some traffic. Had a ton of pages, but this is not really a worry considering I used to get not a lot of traffic in comparison to the number of pages. It's because it's an e-commerce store. I think you've got a page for every product on there. Depending on how e-commerce stores are set up and optimized, hardly any of them sometimes are going to get traffic. So it's no surprise that they had a lot of pages and maybe not a lot of traffic if their e-commerce store setup was not set up correctly for SEO traffic. And if we have a look at the keywords that we're ranking, same time, 5,000 keywords. Again, lots of branded stuff at the top, but then as we go down, we've got individual products, as you would expect, because they had lots of individual product review pages. It's an e-commerce store, so everything in here looks good. It's nothing that you kind of wouldn't expect to see in here. So that's kind of an overview of the domain itself. And then what I pulled out then were two competitors, and I think they're both good competitors, but there's a stark difference between them. One is a great competitor for our Tomb Raiding plan, and one is a poor competitor for our Tomb Raiding plan. In general, I think if you were looking to build a site in this space and you didn't have specific knowledge and experience of the music world. So first one we're going to look at is called appliedguitartheory.com. DR12, so lower DR than we've currently got. Been around for, it looks like it started on a fresh domain, kind of 2018-ish. Took a while to kick off, as you would expect on a fresh domain over a 12-month period, and then seen some nice growth in the last year and a half, 2 years. According to SEMrush, getting 155,000 visits per month. So we probably know it's getting 300,000 plus. And they're doing that with just 161 pages. So awesome traffic to page ratio. And on the face of it, it looks like this site is doing really well and would make a great site for us to look at competing with. But then I started looking at the content and I opened up the first couple of pages and it looks like this. So we've got, it's obviously a content website monetized predominantly through display ads. When we come down here, we've got like this interactive kind of bit where they've embedded what different sounds sound like. And then we've also got these drawings, which are on Pinterest. And if you click on it, it's taken to the appliedguitartheory.com Pinterest page. So I assume they've not taken these drawings anyway. They actually made them themselves. And because they've got lots of them and they're the same format, they're the same color. And on the face of it, like, it would be very difficult to recreate these drawings. It would be very difficult to recreate this kind of content unless you actually was in the space and you knew exactly what this meant. As a content writer, you can write about music and you can write about certain types of music. And I found another site, which I'll show you in a sec, which anybody, even if you didn't have an experience of music, could write about. But in this case, it feels like to compete with this site for these topics and these keywords, this site in particular, you would need to have a deep understanding of music and notes. And you can see in the pages, most of their top content, or almost all of it, is lessons essentially, or different scales where they're teaching you how to play the music, what the notes mean, etc. There's another one, and again, they've got these drawings on here, and clearly someone spent a lot of time and effort, and it's paid off because they've got a lot of traffic for not a ton of pages. But I imagine each one of these pages took a lot of time to create all these graphics, etc. So I just wanted to show you that you have to dig in. Sometimes just looking at the metrics. Oh, DR12, lots of organic traffic, not many pages. Awesome. We can compete with that. In reality, when you look at it, probably can't, to be fair. Which leads me on to my next site, which I looked at and found, which was called guitarlobby.com. So DR24, slightly higher DR. Been around about a year less than that other website, and it's done extremely well, especially in the last 2 years or last year and a half. 200,000 page views according to SEMrush, 250. It's probably getting like 500,000 page views per month. And if we look at the pages, they've got 437 pages of content. So 4 times the amount of content, not quite 4 times the amount of traffic. But when we look at the content, It's our favorite. We harp on about listicles all the time because, one, they're great. It's easy content to create. It's easy to research. It's easy to pull together. And two, like, anybody can do this. You don't have to be an expert in heavy bass songs to pull together a list of the best 38 songs, essentially. And this website's done a great job of that. You can see almost all of their top performing content. They're all pretty much listicle articles. So in this case, you've got 38 best bass heavy songs. And essentially, it's YouTube videos that have been embedded, not their own YouTube videos. A little bit of write-up. There's between 150 and 200 words per write-up for each song. So some of the content is long. You've got 56 easy piano songs here. This is about 8,000 words. But when you think about it, 8,000 words to drive 4,000 visits per month, it's not a bad trade-off, to be fair. And this is all it is. So easy to format, easy to create, easy to research. I think they're missing a trick here in terms of their content isn't spread out enough, i.e. you can see they've got these ad spots in between, but really they should have more ad spots on a page that is this long. The whole plus side and benefit of creating content that is long form content is that you can have more adverts throughout. And I think if they split this content into much smaller paragraphs, they would have space and adverts would appear a lot. You could add more ad placeholders in there. So, like, just on a slightly different topic, if I was buying this website, the first thing I would do would be split up these and add more placeholders to increase revenue. So we could build that in mind when we build the website. So small conclusion, a little bit of wrapping it up at the end, and that's it. Like, nothing complicated, nothing major. Same thing here, 58 easy piano songs for beginners. The one thing which you'll see as well, which we also do, which I like that they've done about this with this site, which also leads on to when we talk to our guest William in a second, they're lazy loading these videos. So they're YouTube, you can see that it's, when I click them, only then does the script load, and that would be important when you make a website like this, when you're embedding 50 videos. If you didn't lazy load these YouTube videos, even though it's another Google product and you're embedding them via the Google embed code, slows the site down massively. So the fact they're doing that as well is good, but we could also do something similar. How we would beat this content, I suggest we would just do a little bit longer, to be honest. We would Google what easy piano songs for beginners were, have a look what were the SERPs were returning. I'm assuming that they're all going to be around the 50, maybe we would do 60, so to make ours just a little bit longer, a little bit better, and go from there, essentially. 50 easy country songs to play on the guitar, 17 best rock bands with female singers. So you get the gist and the feel of the type of content, and you can see that this type of content is so much more easier to research and create than the one where you have to make custom images and embed different tones and different sounds and things like that. And that's it. I'll wrap it up because I'm 5 minutes over where we thought we should be. You're on mute, Mark, I think.
I'll turn myself off mute then. Good work. Okay, yeah, so that domain is A-Sharp Music. Again, check that out on our website if you're interested in that domain, and for us to build a site on that for you.